notice will appear. Read through these terms and conditions, select the Accept Terms and Conditions box, and click OK to proceed to Step 2. Step 2 is Address Details. On this page, you will need to fill in your current home address and then select the correct address from a drop-down list. Please ensure that you spell your street name and area correctly and provide your correct house number. The house number is compulsory. If the correct address is not found, click the Can't Find Home Address option for a more advanced search. This will allow you to select your address by placing a pin on a map of the area where your home is. Alternatively, if you are completing this application from your actual home address, you can click on the Use My Location button. If you select the Use My Location option, there is no need to move the red pin. The system will pick up the address of your location at the time of making the application. This works best when using your cell phone to apply. Once the correct address appears, click Select Location. A confirmation message will appear with the selected address. If the address is correct, click Continue and then Submit. The next page asks for the parent's work address. You only need to complete this section if you want to apply to a school close to your work address. Once home or work address is added, click Submit to receive an SMS with your username and password. The username and password that you created when registering the parent details will be sent to your cell phone via SMS. This must be kept safely to access your application at a later time. Step 3 is Learner Registration. On this page, you need to complete all learner registration details. First read and accept the POPI disclaimer, then complete all compulsory fields marked with a red asterisk on the form. If you select Grade 1, you also need to select one of the 11 official languages as language of learning and teaching and complete questions on early childhood development. After you've filled in all the compulsory fields, you need to click on the Apply to Schools button. If your child is going to Grade 8, you must select Home Language and First Additional Language as on the child's Grade 7 report. Select the province where the child is currently in Grade 7. If you select Gauteng, provide the name of the child's current Grade 7 school. After you've filled in all the compulsory fields, you need to click on the Apply to Schools button. Step 4 is Applying to Schools. In this step, you need to apply to schools by completing the school application form online. When applying to a school, it is important to remember that the following criteria are taken into account and are shown here in order of priority. Number 1, home address within school feeder zone. Number 2, sibling or previous school. Number 3, work address within the school feeder zone. Number 4, home address within a 30-kilometer radius. Number 5, home address beyond a 30-kilometer radius. Number 6, schools of specialization. Remember, when you select or click on home address within school feeder zone, the system will generate a list of all schools with feeder zones that cover your home address based on the address you filled in Step 2. You will be able to select schools from a drop-down list. From the Application Option field, you can select one of the following application options. Option 1. Home address within the school's feeder zone. Remember that placement priority is given to applicants that live within the school's feeder zone, closest to the school. You may select a maximum of 3 schools at the same time. The second option is sibling or previous school. This option allows you to select a maximum of 2 schools for previous school. The school where the child is currently in Grade 7 and 1 school when using the sibling application option. This option is only available for learners going into Grade 8 and not for Grade 1 applicants. You cannot use the sibling application option to apply to Grade 1 or Grade 8 at a school where the child's sibling is currently in Grade 7 or Grade 12. You may use the previous school application option only if your child's current school is in the feeder zone of the high school that you are applying to. Option 3 is work address within school feeder zone. This applies to applications made to schools with feeder zones that cover the parent's work address. You can only select one school at a time for this option. Option 4 is home address within 30 kilometers. You can use this option if you would like to send your child to a school with a feeder zone that does not cover your home address, but is within a 30-kilometer radius. You can only select one school at a time for this option. Option 5, home address beyond 30 kilometers. You can use this option to apply to a school with a feeder zone that is beyond a 30-kilometer radius of your home. You can only select one school at a time in this option. The final option is schools of specialization. You can only select one school of specialization at a time. As part of the process, you need to answer 4 screening questions before applying to a school. Your child would need to pass a placement test, audition, or sporting trial to be placed at one of these schools. Once you have completed this section, you can submit your application. A thank you confirmation page is displayed with the reference number for the learner application. This is also sent to the cell phone number that you filled in earlier when you registered parent details. This does not mean that your child has been accepted at that school. It only confirms that the application has been submitted. After submitting the application, you have the option to apply to more schools, register another learner, upload documents, go to the dashboard, take a quick survey, or to log out. Please note that you can apply to a maximum of 5 schools for each learner. Step 5 is uploading documents. You will be able to upload documents by using the upload function on the system. All schools applied to will be able to view these uploaded documents. Parents who are unable to upload documents should hand deliver certified copies of their documents to all the schools applied to. Note that certified copies of documents must be uploaded or submitted within 7 days after making the application. Your document status will only reflect after you have uploaded or submitted documents and it has been verified by the school. If you edit your personal details, including ID number, after submitting an application, all details on the parent portal will be completely deleted and you will have to re-register and reapply. A summary of all the details you have entered into the system can be seen on the My Profile page. You only have one opportunity to edit your address details during the application period. If you edit your personal details, including ID number, all details on the parent portal will be completely deleted and you will have to re-register and reapply. After the 5-step application, the online application process is complete. Expect to receive an SMS with an offer of placement from the 16th of September 2024. Once an offer of placement has been made by a school, please log into the system and click Accept within 7 days. Space will be reserved for your child at the school where you accepted the first offer, as long as no other offers are accepted. If you accept an offer from another school, the space first offered will no longer be available. Once the final offer is accepted, your child is officially placed at that school. Play your part. Apply online for grade 1 and or grade 8 to secure space at a Gauteng public school. Applications open on the 11th of June and will close on the 12th of August 2024.
Welcome back. Mungi's Goko, Eyewitness News. My question is very simple. It has to do with the challenges that we've experienced regarding online applications. We see parents go that they've used the system, it's not user-friendly. You say that you've turned it around this time around. The question is, what happens with these sort of integrate details you've put into place that if you change your home address, you lose most of the information you've put through? Won't that be confusing to the user, the parents? And when it comes to, it's just my final question, there were reports, particularly on the first day of this year, that 21,000 students were not placed. What are we anticipating for next year? Will we be able to mitigate this? And, okay, I think I'm done actually. I'll come in the second round.
Good morning, my name is Ngosi Konamadingamisi from PFM. MEC, just to, Moses did cover sort of my first question, but as an extension, I think it's always good to be optimistic, but you've obviously then said that you have had challenges with the system since its inception in 2015. But you have, for example, the SA Human Rights Commission that's currently investigating this particular system. So if you can just take parents, pupils, as well as guardians into your confidence, just in terms of your belief that the system is still working and that it will continue to do so for next year. You also mentioned that you are looking at broadening the scope of the system to other grades. Is there a particular time frame that you've set at this juncture, as maybe 5 years, 10 years, maybe? And then just as a last one, it's the first day of the third term. Have you received any primary report as to the situation across the province? Thank you.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the questions. Look, the system is, I think it's, the video, it's quite user-friendly. For us, it's quite user-friendly. But we said, parents, if they have challenges, we've got call centers, we've got walking centers, they can go to our schools. Any school in the province, they can go to district offices, they can go to the head office to get help. So we do have, we put in place mitigating areas so that we can intervene if a parent has a challenge. Yeah, we know that some parents have been saying, they are not happy with the system, and obviously largely it's those that maybe there was a delay to place their child. And can I tell you, every time a parent comes up and says, no, my child is not placed. So okay, give us the details of the child, let's see. You find that parents didn't apply on time, number one. They didn't complete application, number two. Parents with completed applications, all the time we've ensured that we place them. And every time we come back to give a report on placement, we come sitting at about 97% placement of completed applications. We're left with about 2 or 3%. Maximum, it can't be more than 5% that we have a challenge with. So this one of 21,000 learners, you find that obviously we know we experience it every year, where parents go to district offices, and in most cases we are dealing with in-migration. In most cases we are dealing with parents who want to change schools. We are dealing with parents who have moved. So these ones go to the districts. But we do have a process later on for late applications, right at the end of the year. But we don't recommend it, because by that time, you don't have an option. You take what we are offering you. So this one is very critical, that parents must comply. So as for the 21,000 that have not been placed, where we are sitting, we've placed everyone. And when I say placement, I mean we have offered a child a space. Because at a minimum, as I've said to you, at a minimum, constitutionally we are obligated to place a child. So meaning that the minimum we do is to give you space and say we're going to take your child Matome, we're placing them here. This is the space we're offering. We have done our constitutional obligation mandate. We have complied. So sometimes parents don't want that, then it becomes another issue. But we know that constitutionally what we're obligated to do, and as a department, we've always been consistent to ensure that we comply. We don't violate our constitutional obligations. We've noted the Human Rights Commission's report. I'm anticipating it personally, because look, I'm not a reservoir of all knowledge, and we also not reservoir of all knowledge. So if the Human Rights Commission report comes, we're anticipating it to see what are the set recommendations that it gives us and which are the areas that it wants us to improve them. So we anticipate this. It doesn't matter what the report comes from. Where it comes from the public protector, it comes from any Chapter 9 institution, anyone that brings a report that allows us to improve on how we provide service, how we deliver service, we anticipate it. So I'm eager for them to conclude this report so that we can then take it forward and comply with it, with the set of recommendations. And every time we get these reports from any Chapter 9 institution, we don't take it upon review. We take it because we know that the Department of Education, we service people, we service the constituents, we service learners, so we have to really take advice and counsel at all times from everyone. So the broadening of scope, obviously, but it will be within this term of 2024 to 2029. So it should be within this term. It's not going to take long. So it's part of the commitments that we are making. Obviously, we'll come back and see to where we'll then begin to outline the broader 5-year term plan that we'll be introducing in the sector to ensure that Gauteng continues to be number one in terms of innovation, because this system is an innovation. Other provinces are beginning to experience challenges now with pressures in schools. Now coming to us, can we borrow your system? You know, being good people of Gauteng, we say, no, take it. And they're getting it nice because now we've fixed the teething problems. They know it works. So the situation across the province, so far, well, 98-99% school started smoothly. There's been one or two challenges of mainly scholar transport. Some learners have not been picked up. That's because of there are new service providers. There's been a bit of challenges, but 98% of learners were in school on time. I'm just including the 2% because I'm saying if anything, it can't be more than 2% challenge. But besides that, everything has been smooth. The term started very well. I've not had any challenges except that one of transport, HOD. And we've got Plan B across. So where there's been a situation where we've been called upon that learners have not been picked up, we're able to send utilize our Plan B. So those learners obviously will arrive late at school, but they will be taken to school. So besides that, the term started very well. I've not had any incidents that major incidents that we've picked up so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, follow up. Okay, one, follow up. Anyone? I'm closing because we have time pressures now. Okay, thanks very much. Yes.
Okay, MEC, I think I've got it's a two-parted question, but the first part would be the Microwave formal report. The department had welcomed this and has promised to implement the remedial actions. can we sort of have a time frame? Are we aware how long it's going to take? This can go to the HOD or to you, the implementation, of course. And then the second part of my question has to do with the absorption of sports, arts, and culture into sort of your realm. It's part of your portfolio now. Won't that be added pressures? And then we'll go back to instances where we saw a number of investigations into drownings, for instance. We'll use Latoya Hamilton and that outcome that took a little bit of a longer time. We'll use the two Davidson schoolboys who recently passed, and we're still anticipating the outcome of that investigation. So adding an extra bit of load of work to your portfolio, won't that prove challenging?
Just sort of two last questions from my end. The one is linked to the issues of safety. Safety of learners has been highlighted quite frequently in the province of Gauteng, as Monges has cited some of the examples. In this new tenure, firstly, how far are we in terms of the implementation of the recommendations where some of these incidents are concerned? Have those been seen through? And just what's your general sense where safety is concerned? Maybe just your initial stance to reiterate that particular stance. And then the second one, the Premier seemingly put quite some pressure on Gauteng getting back its top spot. How do you feel about that as you embark on this new 5-year term?
My question was about safety, and it has been asked, but particularly as it relates to swimming MEC, it would seem that when during these weekend getaways, you can't go a month without an incident, particularly in these provinces. Any new approach to that? Can schools just take learners to camps at any given time? Are there any new regulations? Thank you.
Okay, MEC?
Yeah, okay.
You can take some.
Yeah, we'll come in through just to on the Maibuye. But like I said earlier, we accept any recommendation from a Chapter 9 institution. You know, these are very important institutions in our democracy, and we always urge people to continue to defend them because, you know, it holds us accountable. So the report on Maibuye, from our side, they should speak to it. Remember that DID implements, is our implementing agent. They build, but we are the custodian of schools. So that's why we have been brought in. But she will speak about how far. But we're not even. We're just going to implement the recommendation as they are. But you will give you the timelines quickly. The drowning incidences, the Davidson, the report is ready. It is ready. We didn't want to bring it today because we need parents to focus on today and the importance of Thursday, the 11th of July and 12th, because it's a very important aspect of it. So we don't want to cloud issues, but the report is ready. We'll present it